Okay, folks, sorry. Technical difficulties. Let's continue here. So, anyway, this guy, this shop owner in Vegas, pulled out a knife and stabbed one of these guys while they were attempting to run from a robbery.
Shop owner fights back as his store was being robbed. He grabbed a knife and stabbed one of the masked criminals. Fox 5 spoke with that shop owner tonight, and Kim Passoff joins us now live outside the store. Kim?
Yeah, John, this is the Smokestrom Smoke Shop. It is on Sahara near Arville. And on Wednesday, during the middle of the day, the owner found himself in a violent struggle when trouble walked in through that door. When a masked robber jumps over the counter, immediately the shop owner grabs his knife, stabbing him several times.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
He then drags him out from behind the counter.
The whole time, I was a little bit nervous because obviously I'm getting robbed.
Johnny Wynn spoke to us from behind his shop's counter, the same spot where things turned violent.
It was so fast. I didn't really have time to think. I was really scared for my life, and one of them had came in with a bag in front of him, and then he held his hand inside that bag as if he was as he had a firearm or whatever. I can only assume the worst.
This is how it started. The robbers approaching the counter with hoodies and masks on.
Why are you guys wearing masks like that? Say what?
Seconds later, one grabs the tip jar and starts to walk out the door.
Take the money in it. I keep the coins. I need the coins.
Then the accomplice jumps over the counter, and that is when Wynn fought back.
I was in a fight or flight mode. A lot of adrenaline going through my body.
Wynn called police immediately after stabbing the would-be robber. Now, he plans to get a gun in case someone tries to rob his store again.
I don't know who they're friends with. Maybe they want to come back and do something else, so I just have to stay vigilant. I hope it doesn't happen again.
Okay. Problem with this is that night after this happened, this guy does an AMA on Reddit without consulting any attorney first. The AMA has now been deleted, and it's obvious why. He basically completely incriminated himself. And of course, on Reddit, does AMA on Reddit without contacting lawyer first. He claimed that league team fights helped him stay calm. So this guy is talking about how he learned from video games that this was okay. Bro said playing League of Legends gives the same adrenaline as stabbing a robber. Yes, officer, I popped my ult and flashed on the robber to secure the kill. I'm hoping to use the gold to purchase a Triforce. Yikes, with that the media will be all over violence in video games again. Exactly. Here he says his knife looks like a basic flip knife from CSGO. You fucking donkey, go get an actual criminal defense attorney so they can have you shut the fuck up. You've already painted yourself into a nice little corner of criminal and civil liability. The comments you deleted will absolutely be subpoenaed, and you now have way fewer avenues for your defense. Picture of flip knife in CSGO for the jury. If you're the owner, I seriously suggest not making any comments, especially like this one. You'll end up getting charged, and the prosecutor will take this comment as evidence of state of mind. Let him talk. Bro, WTF. You are the reason they blame video games for real life violence. Video games are not the problem. Detached losers like you that are naturally drawn to violence are the problem. I would tell you to go touch some grass, but I guess that depends on what the prison you goes to allows for rec time. He's low-key a narcissistic sociopath psychopath, and from his comments on the video, he was definitely waiting and wanting to do something like this. Just seems like a guy riding the high of being able to defend himself. It's like being the winner in a fight. Delusional loser fuck who plays video games and thinks situations like his store getting robbed in real life should be dealt with like he would in a video game. Motherfucker doesn't know how to raise his voice. What a pussy League of Legends nerd. He seriously has no concept of the law. Not excusing the robber's actions, but there was no sign the kid was armed, and the shop owner put himself in the way by rushing him. And the way he keeps referencing video games and stating he knew he has the right is disgusting. What are the odds a gamer Redditor finds himself in this situation and then goes to post on Reddit about it for karma? Some dark humor right here. So this dude, as we can see, now the first thing I didn't even hear about when this came up was the actual robbery. The thing that I found out, how I found out that there was a robbery was because of this AMA. Like that evening, the evening of the robbery, this guy goes on Reddit with an AMA like he's some kind of celebrity, like he's some kind of fucking hero, taking questions from the people on Reddit and answering them like he's a hero, how it felt, you know, what was going through his mind, all this other shit. It was deleted hours after. This is why it was deleted. We saw the video of the robbery. The guy had the knife behind the counter. And apparently what's in the news now is the fact that this shop owner ran after the one guy robbing him so he could attack him. Now the guy coming behind the counter, I could understand if the shop owner wished to protect himself and stab the guy. But the guy freaked out, thought he was dying, said out loud, "I'm dead, I'm dead." Shop owner had to drag him out, and apparently, which the video does not show, which the news station does not show, is that there were reports coming in that this guy kept attacking this dude on the ground who was trying to crawl away for his life. And this is the type of shit he put on the AMA. And he had to delete it because this kid essentially admitted he reacted to a robbery in his store in real life like it was GTA or some shit. Exactly, he could have just stayed in the corner and stabbed him if he came closer. But no, he didn't want to get his stuff stolen. Why take a man's life for some stolen goods? Escalating a situation only makes it worse for both parties. Of course, I'm not excusing the robbers, but their lives should not be taken away by being stabbed lethally like that. Did you see there were two people? Did you notice they were still trying to steal shit? How can you defend and side with the robbers? Ha ha ha. We wouldn't be arguing here. The employee would just be dead because it's 2 versus 1. Sick. Describing the knife like CS:GO. Indeed. I came from the future. Here's the courtroom sketch of the guy's trial. Your Honor, League of Legends, death. In before this is their alt account. Stay away from Lily. He deleted most of the comments, but the replies to him on the thread are hilarious. Did he really comment on the video of his soon-to-be self-defense case, boasting about how he was calm and unthreatened he felt? I didn't read it, but the investigation is going to have a field day. This guy is an absolute idiot for commenting like this. He'll get interrogated. He may not be afforded the right to silence if this goes to court. Also, to an outsider, this guy just sounds like a psycho saying how League of Legends prepped him for this situation. If you rewatch the Rittenhouse trial, there was a discussion of whether or not Rittenhouse waived his Fifth Amendment after talking with Washington Post about what happened. Depending on what he said, it may or may not have given Binger authorization to question Kyle's decision to not talk to police. The Fifth Amendment right would be seriously undermined. Imagine being this robber recovering in the hospital, likely permanently fucked up, scrolling through a Reddit thread where the guy that murked you is bragging about how it's like a video game. And that's the thing. Okay? You know, this guy, the shop owner, apparently, he essentially stabbed a dude because he was defending himself, but then goes right to Reddit to brag about how he didn't feel threatened at all. And CS:GO and other video games prepared him for this. And it was just like a video game, you know, main character syndrome. He's the only one that counts, and the people he stabbed are like NPCs. Non-player characters, people that really don't matter. The guy will probably die. He was a 17-year-old unarmed kid trying to steal cigarettes or some shit. Stabbing him 7 times is a little excessive from where I'm from. It felt like the guy was waiting his whole life for someone to pass the counter so he could kill. Everyone's sucking him off and how proud of him they are. At least act like you didn't enjoy doing it or you didn't want to, but you had to. Yeah, 1,000%. A lot of unhinged losers who think they're badasses, who pretend this is all about self-defense. They're psychotics who relish in cruelty and murder, but if they did anything, they'd go to jail. So they pray to God every night they meet a burglar so they can finally act out their fantasies without legal consequences. someone robbed his store early that month, so he was wishing another bastard would try him. Bro really incriminating himself for Reddit karma. It's okay, the shop owner was not hurt. I mean, what's a little attempted manslaughter charge following you for the rest of your life when you get all these internet points? No, making men laugh is promoting toxic masculinity, probably. What's funny is there's more comment karma in this thread than he's gotten for any of his posts. Yeah. Redditors are psychotics. Imagine nearly killing a man and your immediate thoughts are about doing a victory lap AMA. He's a moron for doing the AMA in a legal sense, but a fucking Chad otherwise. Any source on the current condition of the stabbed guy? I don't know. I mean, this is really fucked up. I wish that the original AMA were still up. I mean, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that he took it down because anything he put on there, you know, prosecution's gonna have a field day with it anyway. And Reddit could probably procure it for them if they wanted to subpoena all that information off of Reddit. It's just really messed up. And, you know, you got some people saying, you know, the guy jumped behind the counter and physically attacked him. No, the shop owner did run up to him and stabbed him. That's the first time the guy put his hands on him, is after he's been getting stabbed. I don't know. And now they are going to go off about video games because of this asshole. My friend in Oklahoma's baby died in utero at 7 months. They forced her to carry until her body expelled it. She ended up with peritonitis, nearly bled to death, and can no longer conceive. Expect this in Indiana too. And they'll probably call her a murderer for her body expelling this unviable tissue, right? So Republicans are running on unlimited price gouging of insulin, ending Social Security and Medicare, and forcing 10-year-old rape victims to give birth. That is some platform. Wow. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says Texas Governor Abbott forced some migrants to get on a bus to New York City. If true, that would be a felony human trafficking. Department of Justice must open an investigation to see if Abbott is in any way coercing people. So Biden has passed an infrastructure bill, a gun bill, American Rescue Plan, CHIPS Act, PACT Act, and the IRA. He's reduced unemployment to a 50-year low, appointed the first black woman to the Supreme Court, and got us out of Afghanistan. Trump flushed documents down his shitter. First, Marco Rubio whined about having to go to D.C. to do his job and cast a vote in the Senate. Now, Rubio has just voted to block $35 a month insulin, telling 2,164,000 Floridians with diabetes to go to hell. Let's save little Marco the trouble of having to go back to D.C. ever again. Biden should sign his bill in front of an enormous Let's Go Brandon banner just as a power move. I totally would. I totally would. I wish I could be Biden for a day just so I could do that. I can't believe I live in a country where the 50 people representing half of our population think that 7.4 million people need to stress over how to pay for a life-saving medication that costs pennies to manufacture. All of this, we must go back to the office sentiment, seems to only come from loser middle-aged men who absolutely hate being at home with their families, instead of perched atop their little great corporate kingdom, nursing weird crushes on their women colleagues. Today, 43 Republicans voted to keep insulin at $1,200 a month instead of $35. And tomorrow, every Republican will tell you to be outraged that gas is $5 instead of $3. In the GOP world, $1,200 for life-saving insulin is fair play. $5 for gas is an outrage. Vote them all out. Americans were 3 votes short of having their insulin capped at $35 a month, and it failed because Republicans blocked it. Remember that when you vote this fall. You know, you don't have to tell us. It's the majority of voters out there. People that don't read this shit. People that don't read this shit needs to hear it. If Alex Jones has to pay out $45 million, how much should Fox News pay out for their repeated lies over the last 25 years? I want a piece of it. You know, my folks are kind of brainwashed by faux news, so I want a cut. You aren't being canceled, your art just sucks. At CPAC, I sat silently in a cell as a performance art piece to provoke a reaction about political division, human rights abuses, and more. Right now, the left-wing media is actively trying to use this art piece to have me further prosecuted. The left now supports criminalizing art. You criminalize art, you piece of shit. You did it for money. You did it to rile people up. Rile people up in the name of something that was absolutely wrong. It wasn't art. It was a failed political statement, and it sucks. At the box office this weekend, The Predator took first place and The Nun took second, which is coincidentally the same way the Catholic Church ranks their priorities. Holy shit, that's brilliant. Republicans in the Senate right now. Well, we may have lost today, but at least we fucked over millions of diabetics. Alex Jones's texts have now been turned over to the January 6th committee. Oh God, baby drop boxes. Stop comparing Trump to Hitler. Hitler could admit when he lost. And how did he admit that, dude? Killed himself in a bunker. Pretty much every major country in the world, automatic voter registration is the norm. Why not us? They don't want you to vote. Senate passes the Inflation Reduction Act 51-50. This bill is the biggest climate investment in U.S. history, allows the government to negotiate lower drug prices, imposes a 15% minimum corporate tax, and beefs up IRS enforcement for tax cheats. Not a single Republican voted for it. Sick of arguing on Twitter with people who want to steal women's health care. That's why I'm taking the choice challenge. Instead of debating anti-choicers online, I will respond to their tweets by donating to Planned Parenthood. Come at me, I'm feeling generous. Disappointed by your side on this. Thank you for your donation. I want to express my opinion online, but I don't want others to disagree with me. I am stoked for others to disagree with me. Gives me a reminder to donate. Thanks for your generosity, friend. Ha ha ha. An app where you can automatically transfer your menstrual cramps to a politician who does not support reproductive health. Party that keeps calling Democrats anti-American are inviting prime ministers of other countries to give pro-race speeches at their rallies. Remember that the next time you vote. Fabulous. Jones's phone being turned over to January 6th committee, priceless. 2 years worth of text messages sent and received by right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones have been turned over to the House Select Committee investigating the J6 insurrection. Come on, Bernie. Hot Mike catches Senate Democrats sniping at Sanders for proposing inflation bill amendment that got voted down 97-1. Poor Burn. God, I wish he were president. He's the best guy for the job right now, even if people don't know it. Bernie upsets their apple carts. Bernie is right, and this is the problem. Old guard Dems don't want to pass any real progressive legislation in order to lower voters' expectations. That way, when they pass any legislation, we're jumping up and down and clapping our hands like kids at the carnival, while they backslap one another. Voting Dem is the only option. I will always vote Dem, but to say they haven't been a disappointment would be disingenuous. Time for establishment old guard centrist Dems to go. You have enough progressives, but most Dems still think progressive is another word for commie. Oh boy. Stop with donut baby. Not enough progressives in office. Most of the Democratic Party is center-right. They are happy being center-right technocrats. There's barely a fully handful of elected members in office as Democratic Party members that are center to center-left. I adore Bernie, but we need term limits. Turtle Man needs to go. Nancy Pelosi needs to go. All the old white rich dudes who are so beholden to their donors need to go. We need younger people in office that get that climate change is a thing and fix income disparity. And we need to catch up on this healthcare for all deal like everyone else. Let's see what Marjorie Turd Green says. Everyone knows the government unnecessarily drives up inflation by pumping trillions into the economy, which is what they have done. Meanwhile, Democrats are passing the Inflation Reduction Act that pumps more money into weak green energy and raising taxes. They hate you. Meanwhile, voting no on insulin bill and fucking over millions of diabetics, this psycho says this. George Carlin was right. Anything they can do to keep us fighting with each other so they can keep going to the bank. Queer people are next, my brother in Christ. More than 300 pieces of anti-trans legislation have been introduced this year alone. What the hell do you mean next? They won't stop with Roe. They didn't start with it either. You just didn't consider anti-trans mobilization a legitimate attack on human rights. Okay, look, there are Christians and then there are Christian nationalists. Christians believe in the teachings of Jesus. Christian nationalists believe in Jesus and also that he's here now, walking the earth in the reincarnated orange body of Donald Trump. Cool? Grown-ass men were literally kicking and screaming on the floor in stores because they had to wear a mask for 10 minutes. Imagine if they had to carry a fetus for 9 months in their body against their will and it could kill them. Abortions would be a non-issue in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Okay. I'll be back maybe to do some gaming later. I have to go. Bye-bye.